That is awful. You were right. I did not expect this twist. Generic intro and that goes Moo here, back with another kill count reaction. Today we're doing Halloween 3 and Halloween 4. Apparently there's going to be a twist in Halloween 3, or the entire series takes a turn in the third movie that I'm not going to see coming. I've never seen any of these movies. Last week was my first time watching them or seeing a kill count related to them with Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. You can check my reaction to that. I'll leave it right up there. Also, link down below in the description. Also in a playlist on my channel with all my other kill counts going in chronological order. If you want to binge watch through all of them, most of them are movies that I have never seen. Actually, almost all of them are movies I have never seen. Some other ones have been like nostalgic great videos that I've reacted to, but the Halloween franchise and series, completely fresh going into that one. It should be quite interesting. Next couple weeks, we're going to have even more Halloween movies coming, or Halloween series. Not Halloween as in like the holiday. You know what I mean. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hopefully I can make it a tiny little bit better. I do read all your comments. Leave them down below. And shout out to the patrons, because I could not do this if it was not for them. $30 a month get you all my reaction videos a day early. And I hope that you're subscribed, as we are getting real close to the last month of 2024. And I really, really want to hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the month. And it's going to be really, really difficult to do. So if you're not already subscribed, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could do so. But let's go ahead and jump into Halloween 3. Alright, Halloween 3, here we go. Oh, so you can skip the intro. Try to hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
We tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies.
It's gonna be close.
And today we're looking at the spectacularly bizarre Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yeah, apparently it takes a twist.
Let's get one thing straight
that I
right
don't
off
see
the
coming.
bat. Yes, this is the Halloween movie that has nothing to do with Michael Myers. Instead, it's a completely unrelated tale about an evil Irish toy maker and his diabolical plan to kill kids all over the country using booby-trapped masks and a disturbingly catchy jingle. Allow me to explain how the shapeless Halloween sequel came to be. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, the producers of the first film,
they just want to be gone.
The Halloween series an anthology in the same vein as The Twilight Zone, with each movie telling an all-new spooktacular tale set around the holiday. Then,
that's actually kind of brilliant.
A spin-off series. It sounds kind of Conjuring-esque in retrospect, but there was a bit of a problem. Michael Myers had made such an impact in the original film that the other producers wanted him back, so Carpenter and Hill agreed to make one more movie about him before proceeding with their sort of jukebox of horror plan. And that's why Michael originally died at the end of Halloween 2. That was supposed to be it for him, and then on to something else. But people loved Michael Myers just too much, and you can't really blame them. Maybe if they had started this anthological approach with the first sequel, the audience would have been more understanding. But after two Halloweens,
to change it up,
shape, it's not surprising that audiences expected him back for the third. And thus, Season of the Witch was
what were the trailers like?
That ended any plans to make a Twilight Zone of cinematic terrors. As for the movie itself, it's completely ridiculous, even if it was entirely separate from the Halloween series.
Unrealistic
I actually
kind of deal.
love it because of how crazy it is. In fact, the only thing I don't care for is the May, December of the following year romance going on in it. Other than that, I love it. The witchcraft, the sci-fi, all the brutal kills. Let's see how many I'm talking about and count them up.
The last one had 10, right? The first movie had 5, the last one had 10.
Begins in Northern California in October.
I've
but not
never
like
been to
Halloween.
California.
No, this movie's given us 8 days of runway till we get to the namesake holiday. A dude named Harry Grimbridge is on the run from a car.
Grimbridge under a bridge?
Nice. In a parking lot, he runs straight into a well-dressed thug who starts strangling him against the ground. In an act of desperation, Harry pulls the block out from a parked car's tire, and the vehicle rolls forward at a non-lethal looking speed, but still manages to kill this thug for our first death of the movie. No blood or anything, but it does have a nice nasty crunch to it. Don't worry, we'll get there. Harry takes off.
That would not be fatal at that speed.
1 hour later, when a gas station attendant is watching a news report about a piece of frickin' Stonehenge that got stolen. Talk about the heist of the millennia.
How?
The commercial break includes our first instance of this insanely obnoxious Silver Shamrock jingle.
It's 4 days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
I think it's 4 days. Or 8 more days.
It's advertising 3 crappy masks that are apparently all the rage, even though they look like Happy Meal toys. Also, they're called the Halloween 3. Nice tongue-in-cheek name there. The attendant gets accosted by Harry, who passes
and there's
out
like 3 big Halloween series franchises.
Time to meet our hero of the story, alcoholic Dr. Dan Chalice, played by Tom Atkins. His ex-wife Linda is played by Nancy Kyes, who was Annie in the original, and who's already bought their shitty kids those shitty Halloween masks.
Of course.
8 more days to Halloween, Halloween.
So what's the jingle on the 7th day?
In case you're not a fan of that Kids Bop cover, don't worry. You can hear the original any goddamn time you turn on a TV in this movie.
What was the marketing budget?
Turn that down.
What? They're just that excited for a
called in to take care of Harry,
commercial.
who was brought into the hospital by that friendly gas station attendant who's just like, he's really gotta get out of there right now. I don't know why. Harry wakes up at the sound of the ubiquitous Silver Shamrock commercial, and he once
has the
again
mask.
delivers creepy prophetic warnings.
They're going to kill us, all of us.
That night, after drunk
That's
horny
ominous.
Dan gropes one of his nurses and passes out in a stupor on a hospital couch, another
That
well-dressed
can't be
thug
comfortable.
sneaks his way into Harry's hospital room and kills the old rambling man in a seriously gnarly way, sticking his fingers right into Harry's eyes and breaking his skull with a single hand. It's a simple kill for sure, but the way it's done is absolutely brutal, as are a lot of the kills to come. It's good stuff. Dan
man.
awakens to a nurse's screams and stumbles his way
Also,
down
wouldn't
the
they have,
hallway
like,
out to the
the
parking
flatline
lot.
machine
There he
kinda go off?
watches as the assassin sits calmly in his car, douses himself with gasoline, and lights himself on fire, giving us another explosive kill.
Also,
and
wouldn't it
driving home
go
that
up
this
the
movie
moment
is
he
not
lit
really
it
slasher.
because of
It's more of a
vapors?
what the fuck mystery that'll have to be figured out by the drunkest doctor in the Golden State. A title card tells us it's the next day when Harry's St.
still
Vincent-looking
smoking.
daughter Ellie arrives at the hospital to identify his body. And then another title card tells us it's the next day. What
Well,
the
we just
fuck? And we
skipped
find
the
drunky Dan
26th?
flirting with assistant coroner Teddy, trying to get some info about the self-imploding assassin. Wow, this hospital has one horny fucking staff. And wait, what the fuck? Now it's Friday? Why not just set your movie closer to Halloween
Yeah,
and skip all
why?
these title cards?
To make it
Speaking of
more
Halloween,
realistic,
at Dan's
I
regular
guess?
watering hole, Muldoon's, we get confirmation that this movie takes place
Muldoon's?
in a new continuity when the TV airs a commercial advertising the immortal classic Halloween.
What is the one
followed
from
by this,
Letterkenny?
of course.
Modines? Modines 2.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Yep.
Ellie walks into this deserted bar and tells Dan that his entire staff knows he's a problematic day drinker.
One of the nurses told me I could find you here.
She enlists
Oof.
Dan to help her find out more about her father's death instead of going to like a sober police officer.
Bro,
So
who
she takes
just
him to her dad's
takes
toy shop
shots
where his
by
records show
themselves
that the last thing
for
he
no
did
reason?
before getting that septum surgery was pick up a supply of silver shamrock masks from the factory in Santa Mira. Dan calls up his ex-wife and cancels plans with his kids so he can take a six-pack of roadies and head up the coast with Ellie. Real dad of the year material. Oh, and in case you were wondering what day it was,
Oh, yep. 2 more days. Okay.
could we get the FCC in here to find Silver Shamrock for violating the 8th Amendment? They drive to Santa Mira,
What is the
a
8th
sleepy
Amendment?
Irish
I do not
enclave
know
of
that.
California, played by the town of Lolita, California, population 800. It's home to the Silver Shamrock
800
Company and a whole bunch of very nosy locals, as well as some state-of-the-art CCTV cameras. Dan and Ellie
Wow.
pose as a married couple as they rent
Look
a
at those
motel
gas
room,
prices.
even though it'd make more sense for them to be father and daughter, given the 24-year age gap between the two actors. Tom Atkins was 47 here, and Stacey Nelkin was 23. He's literally
Wow.
more than twice her age. Kinda weird. Also staying at this motel is boisterous Silver Shamrock salesperson Buddy Kupfer, his wife Betty Kupfer, and their shitheel son Buddy Jr., as well as another
their
Silver
last name?
Shamrock salesperson, Marge Gutman. Is Silver Shamrock run like fucking Cutco knives or something? Ellie wants to head to the factory right away, but Dan is more interested in drinking and stalling.
It's getting late.
Why?
I could use a drink. Let's take our time.
He
Then the
wasn't kidding
romance kicks
about
off, and
the-
since her dad's death has probably left her with some father issues, Ellie's totally down for some mature mustache rides. An uncredited Jamie Lee Curtis voice comes over a loudspeaker to announce
What?
Santa Mira's curfew is now in
Kitten.
effect. But fuck if that's gonna stop
missed
Dan
mine.
from getting his booze. He's got those DTs to ward off, you know? On his way back, he runs into a homeless guy named Starker who puts forth a great argument.
But everybody
for
was
getting
like
himself
getting
a
everything
swig.
inside.
I ain't got no diseases. You mind if I have a drink?
The vagrant tells Dan about the head of Silver Shamrock, Conal Cochran, who built this town up from the ground but without using any local labor. Maybe this place needs E-Verify. Starker cusses out
Oh,
Cochran
so,
for the
like,
night and those CCTV cameras
how is it built
everywhere.
then?
So after he leaves Dan, he gets attacked by 2 more well-dressed thugs who by now we figured out work for Mr. Cochran and Silver Shamrock. They
I mean,
get him
could've
to his
figured that
knees
from
kind of
the beginning.
suggestively before the one played by Dick Warlock, who was part 2's Michael Myers,
What
freaking rips off
is-
Starker's
Oh!
head. Holy shit, yes!
Was the other
That's
guy
what I'm
stabbing
talking
him in the
about,
back?
Halloween 3. Keep giving me shit like this and I will love you forever. Oh no, you're gonna give me more of this nasty romance? Ugh, okay, if you want to be like that. The
I need an
daddy-daughter
adult.
couple gets to love making on
Don't
the
say
nasty
that.
motel bed where there's a way too long shot of Tom Atkins going in for some breast milk. Damn, there be daddy and mommy issues all up in this bitch. Their post-coital cuddle isn't much better to watch thanks to the smash hit they got playing on the radio.
1 more day till Halloween. Oh, it's still 2 more days. Okay.
This commercial.
Who has the radio
I know,
on?
dude, I know. I guess it puts Ellie in the mood though, because she's coming back for seconds.
What?
Aren't you just the least bit tired?
Nah, dude, because she's not pushing 50 like you are.
Yeah, she's
Go tend to your
23.
stock portfolio or some shit. Meanwhile, in the next room over, Marge Gutman finds a loose silver shamrock tag that fell off her kid's Halloween mask. Oh
What is it?
man,
Wait,
if those
what?
are anything like the tie tags on Beanie Babies, that mask ain't worth shit anymore. Her amateur tinkering leads to a freaking blue beam blast that hits her in the face and gives us another great kill.
What?
That's what this movie does.
Why?
Look at her messed up mouth,
Bro,
man. She looks like the
what?
Chatterer Cenobite. Hell yes,
What?
dude. And wait, what the fuck? What the fuck
What?
is that bug doing crawling out of her mouth?
What
like
kind of
that?
bug is
Sick,
that?
Man. That's almost as gross as the sex scene this kill is intercut with. Another title card
Where did the
informs us that
blue
it's finally
beam?
Halloween Eve, and Dan calls up Teddy,
Halloween
who's
Eve.
working on the weekend because she can't seem to find any human parts in her autopsy sample of the hospital assassin, just plastic and metal. Dan and Ellie head to
Wait,
the
are
Silver
they
Shamrock
robots?
Factory
Are the
to find
dapper
more clues about her
assassins?
father's death. And while they're there, they run into Buddy Kupfer and his clan, who are there for a special tour of the factory, since he's the best-selling Silver Shamrock salesperson in the country. The tour will be led by Connell Cochran himself, the movie's big bad, played by a friggin' Oscar-nominated actor, Dan O'Herlihy.
O'Herlihy?
Yeah, he really is. He's one of the best parts of this movie, honestly. Cochran allows Dan and Ellie to join the tour for plot purposes, so everyone gets to peek
plot
behind the
purposes?
curtain of a company that somehow turns a profit with only 3 fucking masks in their stock.
But
Shit,
it's
we had
all
more pin
hand done?
variants than that when we launched our merchandise at deadmeatstore.com. And no,
Nice.
I will not apologize for that shameless plug because this is America. Buddy Jr. even gets a shitty
Good
little
job,
pumpkin
James.
wrapped
You
around
do
his
that.
head from Cochran himself. Tee-hee, what fun. Cochran gets real cagey though when he talks about the quote-unquote final processing of the masks, which is apparently all done behind this very discreet door in the factory.
That
The
is
best thing
so
about this little
just-
mystery is this hilarious
do
line
not go in
delivery
there.
from Betty Kupfer.
What final process?
Don't ask me.
On their way out from the factory, Ellie sees her dad's car in a garage, but she's stopped from looking further into it by more of Cochran's goons. They head back to their motel room where Dan
And
knocks
he's
back
still
another
drinking.
drink before running over to the office so he can try to call the police. The phone line doesn't work, and when
Does
he gets
this
back to
motel
his
not have
room,
a
Ellie is missing.
landline in
Standing
there?
outside is a quintet of thugs just waiting for his drunk ass. He climbs out the back window of his motel room and makes a run for it, harkening back
See,
to
if they were in a
Harry Rivers'
hotel,
flight
then maybe they
that
wouldn't have
kicked
this
whole
issue.
movie off. He makes his way back to the Silver Shamrock factory and breaks inside, but after a short investigation, the only thing he finds is a nice old lady knitting in a rocking chair. When he tries to ask her where Ellie is, her frickin' head falls off.
Oh, how is
shit,
she
Dan,
knitting
you shook
then?
her way too hard. Inside her neck is a bunch of gears and
They're all
worry beads
robots.
that leave Dan so astounded he doesn't hear Dick Warlock coming up behind him, who promptly throws him into another room.
Why are they
much
wasting
bigger
time?
and
All the
better
other times
controlled.
it's been
In the
like, yeah,
ensuing
just
fight,
like
Dan gets
grabs.
the upper hand and winds up punching straight through the goon's abdomen, which causes him to puke out a real nasty-looking yellow phlegm and expose that he's got a bunch of wires
He's a
inside
robot.
his belly. So yeah, these
Oh.
thugs have been androids, but I'll still include them on the
Is it
count since
android
I
or
set that
robots?
precedent with Ash and Bishop in the Alien franchise. However, before you say anything, I'm not including the decapitated old lady because she looks more like a Hall of Presidents animatronic than a convincing synthetic, okay? Also, it just doesn't matter. These videos are for jokes! Dan is cornered by more androids and Cochran himself, who says that the old lady Dan just decapitated was built in 1785. Damn! Cochran
What?
hand waves all the android science away by saying the inner mechanics were easy and that the outer appearance wasn't much different than making Halloween masks. A title card tells
I
us
think
that
it's
it's
quite
finally
different.
Halloween, and on this very holy
Dude,
morning,
Halloween
Dan is marched into
following
Cochran's
on,
bad
like,
guy headquarters
you
where
know,
that stolen
Sundays
Stonehenge
or
rock is being used
middle
for
of the
all
week
his
is
bad
just
guy
rough.
magic and or science. Hey, how'd y'all steal that Stonehenge rock and get it to a factory in California?
We had a time getting it here. You wouldn't believe how we did it.
I would like to know.
No, I would not. That's why I'm asking.
It's a very heavy rock.
That's it? That's all you're gonna say about it? Okay, cool. Yep, Stonehenge is the thing powering the evil buttons on the back of Cochran's mask.
How do you even
And the one
find
that
out
killed Mark
Stonehenge can
Gutman,
do
whose
this?
body is still in their factory for some reason. Cochran wants to show Dan a live demonstration though, so his henchmen march the very naive Kupfer family into a dreary test room without any windows under the guise of getting their feedback on a new Silver Shamrock ad campaign. With some beep boops and a knob
Oh,
twirl,
no.
we see the world's most obnoxious commercial again. And that includes head-on, applied directly to forehead. It instructs its viewers to put on their Silver Shamrock
I had to
masks
inform
and
Kirby
watch
of what
the
that
TV
was.
closely
She had
as a
no idea.
pumpkin gives us some Pokemon seizures. Little Buddy's mask button starts glowing, and in short order, we get to see what Cochran's got planned for the rest of the country.
What
now.
happens to-
Apparently, it's to kill kids by turning their heads into mush. Holy shit!
Are those
Halloween
bugs?
3 just killed a fucking kid, dude, and in the most disgusting way too.
Why are
there
the bugs?
all sorts of bugs coming out
Ew,
of that
ew,
kid's
why?
skull.
Why
And
is he
a
moving?
Snake? A giant
A
fucking
sna-
snake?
that's a
Whoa,
copperhead,
dude,
isn't
get
it?
the fuck out of
No,
here.
it's a
Buddy's
rattlesnake.
parents are killed as well after Betty faints and Buddy Sr. is bit by his son's head rattler. He collapses tosses to the ground on the monitors, and we watch as their bodies
Okay,
are overcome
I don't think it's
by the
that
various
instant.
critters that their dead son just gave birth to from his brain.
It's not
It's a
boom
totally
slanger.
bizarre and unforgettable scene, and it's part of why
Yeah,
I fucking
boom
love
slangers.
this movie.
Ugh.
Just don't question why Cochran wants to turn kids into bugs and kill their parents with snake bites. It's a shitty plan that doesn't make sense, but fuck it. Later that day, the
But seriously,
commercial plays
why?
for the bazillionth time in this movie as kids rush to the stores so they can all wear the same 3 fucking masks as everyone else. How are you about to
They're
get
literally-
excited about looking the exact same as a third
Ohio,
of all the
of
other
course.
kids in the
It-
country? Although
James,
I guess
good
they
point.
can add their own personal
New York,
flair to
New
each
York.
costume, as we see in this coast-to-coast montage, as director Tommy Lee Wallace's voice reminds them all of what's to come.
Don't forget to wear your masks.
Oh,
Be in
Ma.
front of your TV sets for the horror-thon.
That's
And
crazy.
Remember the big giveaway at 9.
Wait a minute, what
Big
time zone is
giveaway
that
at
commercial gonna air in?
Yeah,
If it's
exactly.
9 o'clock Eastern, then those California kids will probably
6
hear about
o'clock.
the deaths before it gets to them 3 hours later. But if it's 9 o'clock
Yeah.
Western, then you know those
Riding
East
a
Coast kiddies will
bike,
be past the fuck
wearing a
out by
mask
now.
is
How
kinda
does your
nuts.
shitty plan work, Cochran? Back in Teddy's office, she's still looking through the android's ashes and trying to get a hold of Dan on the phone when a thug sneaks in and steals a power drill so he can wrap this subplot up real quick. He does so by coming up behind Teddy and knocking her to the floor, then taking the power drill to her
Okay,
head. But
and her subplot.
unfortunately, it's done off screen in the only scene that this movie ever shows restraint. Oh, what, Season of the Witch? You're cool showing a kid's head turn to mush, but you won't get down and dirty with a driller killer? It's now
I
7:30.
guess. Or maybe,
Again,
like,
what
the
time
effect would be
zone?
too
Cochran
difficult,
ties up
or
Dan in a
wasn't
chair so he can
very
deliver
good.
a bad guy monologue that kind of explains why he's doing this. It's because people nowadays don't respect the classic traditions of Halloween, or as he correctly pronounces it,
The Festival of Samhain.
good job, Cochran. Apparently, it's time to reclaim the holiday because, like, the planets are aligned or some shit. Whatever. He puts a mask on
What are you
Dan's
going
head
to
and
do?
tells him Happy Halloween as the original Halloween movie starts playing on the TV. But Dan
Nice.
is one of
And
those
there's gonna be
people who
commercial?
thinks the OG film is overrated and boring. So he kicks out the television, cuts through his restraints, then tosses his mask in an amazing
Yo,
throw
that was
under
a
the camera
crazy
in the room.
toss.
He escapes through an air vent like he's the new James Bond.
He vented.
None of the training, but twice the alcoholism. And he eventually finds his way to Ellie's room to remind the audience that she was once a character in this movie. They escape down a hallway and into the giant warehouse operating room where they're able to sneak by Cochran and his crew disguised as a sentient rack of Halloween masks. Man, this
They're
is
too
Scooby-Doo
busy
shit.
with
Dan
everything else.
discovers that the boxes all around them are full of those kill buttons, so in a fun, if highly unlikely sequence, he manages to sneak
That
his
dude
way
is
over
literally
to a
looking
control panel
right
without
at them.
any of the dozens of henchmen seeing him, and boot up the commercial to start playing on all the TVs in the room. Then he takes a box of the silver shamrock buttons and tosses them from the rafters down into the control room below. It's at this point that I'm kicking myself for making that androids count on the list rule earlier.
Yeah, 'cause I
the
has to count
commercial
all these.
triggers all these buttons to go off and kill Cochran's henchmen with a bunch of electric beams that blast them to death, but don't result
sure
in bugs or
how
anything.
that would
Just
make
the equally
sense.
disgusting yellow phlegm spit up. Luckily, a couple of overhead shots
Oh,
make
that
things
helps.
easier for me, and I was able to count
16 of
16
them?
bodies
Nice.
around the warehouse. I'm pretty confident in that number. As for Cochran himself, he simply looks up at Dan and Ellie in
Hello.
the rafters and applauds them with a golf clap. As the Stonehenge rock gets pissed, and a
was
giant
literally
blue
golfing
circle
today.
apparates out of all the monitors in the control room.
Is this a plan?
Together, the two beacons of energy, or whatever the fuck, send a couple of kill beams into Cochran that turns him into a paper man and then makes him disappear. What the fuck?
What is that
man? Dan and
effect?
Ellie run away
What
from
was
the
the
Silver Shamrock
intention?
Factory as it turns into
What?
a spitting image of hell on earth. On their way to stop Cochran's plan from going through, Dan realizes that Ellie hasn't spoken a goddamn word since he rescued her. And it turns out
Why?
that's because she's a fembot looking to kill him
Wait,
with
she's
a
a
deadly
robot now?
face grab. Quick, Dan,
Wait,
play
what?
the panels. I can't say for
What happened to the
certain this
original?
means that the real Ellie Grimbridge was killed, so I'm not gonna put her on the list.
Oh,
But I
no,
will
that's
go
a treat.
ahead and put the
Oof.
EllieBot 5000 on the list after Dan crashes the car and gets the best of her in a fight with a tire iron that he uses to knock her head clean off.
Yep, that'll
Good
do
thing
it.
That's over with, and we can add another solid kill to the count. Great work.
I guess
Season
the
of
robots
Witch.
don't
Oh, wait,
talk.
her disembodied arm is still kicking, or punching, or
How?
grabbing, I guess. Whatever. Just end this goddamn fight sequence, please. Thank you. No,
Are you
come on.
serious?
It's okay, Season of the Witch. Every movie has
Take
to
the
end
other
at
arm.
some point, and your time is just about up. Dan runs off into the woods and winds up coming across that poor beleaguered gas station attendant from the beginning. He gets on the phone and calls up, what, the president of TV or something? And yells at them to take the commercial off the air or else it'll
As
kill a
kids
bunch
are
of
showing
kids.
up.
It's taken off one network, and as Dan watches, hopefully, a second. But it looks
Nice.
like the commercial is still running on channel number 3
There's-
as that deadly pumpkin flashes
Yep,
on the screen.
I remember when
Dan
there was a whole
pleads for
bunch
the
of-
person on the phone
only a
to
couple
take the
channels,
ad off
you
the
know?
third network.
Local cable.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Yeah, dude, that's how
That's
this
it?
movie ends. With the
That's how it
potential
ends?
death of like all the kids in the country, or at least in the Western time zone. Who the fuck knows? I don't include potential kills like that on the count, but don't worry.
Go ahead
there's
and look
still
at the
plenty of others
population.
on
Look at the
screen.
census
Let's get to
data,
the numbers.
James. Go ahead.
No. No, you gotta turn it off. Please stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it!
You were right. I did not expect this
There were
twist.
28 confirmed deaths in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Wow.
And the victims included 5 male humans, 3 female humans, 19 male androids, and 1 female android, giving us one of those rare 4-piece pie charts.
Wow.
With a runtime of 98 minutes, we wound up with a kill on average every 3.5 minutes. I'll give the golden
16 in the
chainsaw
game at
for
once.
coolest kill to Starker. Lots of cool deaths in here, but I just can't get over Dick Warlock pulling a dude's head off with his bare hands. It's just awesome. Dull Machete for lamest kill
This is
will
gonna
go
be
to
the car?
Teddy, because
Oh,
like,
off
come
screen,
on,
yeah.
baby, show us that drill to the head. And that's it. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch
Wait,
came out in
wait a minute.
1982 and had most
That
of the
car-
same crew as Halloween 2, even if it was lacking Michael Myers.
Slowly bumped
He would
into
return
that
6 years
android.
later in Halloween 4, which I'll cover next week. But until then, I'm
But
James H.
then-
Denise. This has been the Kill Count.
The
Thanks
female
a lot for watching
robot
this week's Kill Count. I want to thank
kept
a couple
getting back
patrons
up.
like Alexi Pelkinen, Richard Lucero,
Make
and
it
Adam
make
Doran.
sense.
If you didn't know, there's a Dead Meat James subreddit. Lately, it's been a lot more
really?
active. Check it out at
That's cool.
reddit.com/r/deadmeatjames. There's also a link in the description. It's a place where you can post about stuff involving this channel or just
There's
horror
actually a
movies in
Duck
general,
Goes Moo
or apparently
subreddit.
post weird
Subreddit.
zoomed in pictures of my face. Thanks y'all, be good
There's a
people.
lot of those. There's a lot of Photoshop pictures of me. It's an interesting place. It's very
Welcome
small.
to the Kill
community, very
Count, where
small.
we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Halloween 4, The Return of Michael
okay.
Myers, released
We brought
in
him back.
1988. As
Nice.
the subtitle suggests, this movie was Michael Myers' return to the big screen after 7 long years. Kind of a late
7.
return, seeing as the slasher subgenre was on the decline, but Mustafa Akkad was determined to
That's a name.
revitalize the series with a back-to-basics approach after buying the rights to the whole franchise from John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.
How much
who
did
were
he
no
pay
longer
for those?
involved. And that's what this movie is, really, completely back to basics. I don't know if you can get any more basic than Halloween 4. Although many Halloween fans
Is
love
it
the
good?
sequel,
Oh.
I don't have strong feelings about it either way. To me, it's pretty much see Michael kill. Kill Michael, kill. Everything from the supporting characters, to the kills, to Michael's way too white new mask are just kind of meh to me. The only things that stand out are the excellent kid acting from Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd and the return of Donald Pleasance as Sam Loomis, who was just full-on pants backwards crazy by now. As
okay,
middling
Tim.
as they were, though, there were still a bunch of kills. Let's
Mr.
get to that.
Revolver.
The movie begins on Halloween
October
Eve,
30th.
1988, 10 years after the events of the first 2 films. An ambulance
How
arrives
old
at a
is
federal
Michael at
sanitarium
this
that
point?
looks like a haunted maze walkthrough on the inside, complete with spooky screams.
I usually talk to the people.
Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place.
The ambulance
Unlike
drivers are there to
Haunted
pick
Trails,
up a
they
comatose
scream.
Michael Myers for a transfer, and they're treated to a bunch of exposition.
usually make them
from the
laugh,
security guard
'cause
who
I
recaps the
crack
first 2
jokes with them.
movies for them and the audience.
But his doctor, of all people, shot him 6 times.
They wheel Michael out on a stretcher
6
as
times.
the
Was it
classic
6 times, 5
Halloween
times,
theme
7
plays,
times?
because this series is gonna skate by on that piece of music for as long as it can. In the back of the ambulance, the attendants unwisely talk about Michael's only living relative, a young niece in Haddonfield, and that gets the invisible Michael Mann good and restless. So restless that he wakes
Oh.
up and kills this dude, attendant
Just
Jay
for
Black,
mentioning it?
first by
Okay.
slamming his head against the inside of the ambulance, and then by
Isn't that
pulling a
plastic?
little Jack Horner and sticking his thumb in Black's
What?
head to see if he's done yet. What a good boy you are, Michael. Time to meet Michael's 7-year-old niece they mentioned, Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, who is the true star of this and the next movie. In case you're confused about how she's related to Michael, they make it clear when she looks at this publicity photo of Jamie Lee Curtis from the first movie. Little Jamie Lloyd is Laurie Strode's daughter. But in this Halloween
Okay.
timeline, Laurie Strode is dead from a car accident that also killed Jamie's father, leaving her an orphan. That's okay though. Uncle
Why
Mikey
did they
is here
change
to take care
that
of Jamie and make
instead
sure
of
she's
Michael
raised
being the
properly.
one that-
Ain't that right, Mike?
Hello?
He can even teach
That's
her this new
creepy.
trick he's been working on. Teleporting. Neat. Just kidding. That was all a hallucination or whatever. And in reality,
okay.
Jamie's just crying in a closet with a pack of Mountain Dew throwback. She lives in this Haddonfield house with her adopted family, the Carruthers. She's got foster sister
What are
Rachel,
these last
foster
names?
mother Darlene, and foster father Alex Jones, her Richard. She's also got a real good
Oh,
boy
like
named
dog.
Sunday. Oh, look at
Aw.
that fluffy golden belly. Almost makes you forget about your dead parents. What this movie really needs, though, is
No.
a crazy-ass doctor looming over it. So here's Donald Pleasance with some janky burn makeup effects to remind us of that giant hospital explosion that probably should have killed
How
him.
did he
gets word
survive
Michael's
that?
ambulance was involved in an accident overnight, and the movie makes my job easier with a quick line of dialogue.
How many people in the bus?
4 plus Myers.
That means
There
we
you
can
go.
add 3 to the count right now, since we already counted that attendant black dude. The other 3 victims were apparently that other attendant, a lady named Evans, and 2 randos who we never saw. Loomis knows that all these damn movies have the same damn plot, so he's already leaving for Haddonfield, where Michael will surely be headed. On his way home, though,
just
Michael's
knows
gonna
at
make a
this
pit
point.
stop so he can rack up a couple more kills. First is this mechanic who's
no.
just trying to make
Oh,
a
I
living,
thought he was
but
gonna drop the
instead he
car.
makes a dying after a bandaged up
A
Michael
dying?
uses a metal rod to stab through the poor guy's body just off screen. Mikey, that's not what the sign meant when it said body shop. Loomis happens to pull into the same gas/kill station, and after heading inside, finds the mechanic's body hanging down from a bunch of chains in a, honestly, kind of a weird S&M looking way. But Loomis is kink positive, so instead of hightailing it out of there, he goes into this shrine of Abe
No way
Lincoln
Michael
diner,
was there.
only to find another body
Why
behind
is
the
Abraham
counter.
Lincoln?
This waitress lying on the ground
That's
with
sad.
not a single hint as to how she was killed. Pretty lame. They could have at least thrown some fake blood.
It looks
on
like
the
her
counter.
neck is a little
Loomis
dark.
turns around to find Michael at the end of a Zolly shot, standing way back in the kitchen. Against a backdrop of a bunch of poorly hung
You shoot him
Lincoln
5
pictures,
times?
Loomis
6
goes
times?
to shoot his
Yep.
former patient, but his shots hit nothing. Was Michael just an illusion, or did Loomis watch as he juked out of the way real fast? It's not
He
really
teleported.
important. What is important is pointing out the ridiculous stock sound effects that this movie uses for gunshots. Loomis steps outside
Oh.
for some air, and next
He's
thing you
not-
know,
he's still
Michael's
using
stealing
a
big old
revolver.
truck he somehow knows how to drive as Loomis
20 round
shoots at him
magazines.
some more.
No, it's not a revolver. It looks
As
like a
Michael
revolver from the
drives
side.
off, he somehow starts a gas station fire that destroys
angle.
Loomy's car and spreads to an electric line so the doctor can get a whole special effects show worth of sparks and flames. At her school in Haddonfield, Jamie gets teased by her classmates for having a boogeyman uncle and a dead mom.
A dead mom.
Wow, kids are dicks. Again, Danielle Harris gives a
That is
spectacular
awful.
performance and really makes you feel bad for Jamie as she runs away crying.
How did kids even find out
She
about
gets picked
that?
up by Rachel and Rachel's friend Lindsay, who's apparently meant to be Lindsay Wallace, the little girl that Annie was babysitting in the original film. That blew my goddamn
small town.
mind. Lindsay drops Rachel and Jamie off at a drugstore, where, in an even bigger mindfuck, this random dude inside is supposed to be Tommy Doyle, the little boy Lori babysat in the original. Why include these two at all if you're not even gonna make them characters? Or in Tommy's case, even mention them by name.
Easter eggs?
Anyway, Rachel
I
and
don't know.
Jamie are
I think
there
it's cool.
so that Jamie can get a Halloween costume and Rachel can get
Careful
some
the
action.
masks.
That boy she PDAing with is Brady, who she's been seeing recently, but who she can't go out with tonight because she's got to watch over Jamie. Brady feels tricked that he ain't getting any treats, so he starts looking elsewhere for something good to eat, namely this chick who works at the store with him, Kelly Meeker. Meanwhile, Jamie has found a costume that just like speaks to her, man. Probably because
clown
it's so similar to the
costume?
one her uncle began his murder career in. And it turns out Uncle
Oh.
Mike is there in person, putting on a conveniently available shape mask and attacking Jamie in the middle of this public store in broad
It's a
daylight.
hallucination.
Or maybe he didn't, because of course,
Yep.
while teenagers rush to Jamie's screams, there's no evil uncle to speak of.
He's eventually gonna
wait,
be
no,
there, though.
There he is. He's still right there. Nobody saw that dude? With his vehicle wrecked from the gas station stunt show, Loomis resorts to some John Waters-style hitchhiking and gets picked up by quite the character, Reverend Jackson P. Sayer. He and Loomis have a great time talking about evil and knocking back some booze, while Sayer enchants Loomis
while
with
driving.
a gospel tune.
Do not drink and drive. Drink responsibly. Cool.
The beautiful, beautiful river.
Hey, you know what, Loomis? This guy could be singing way worse songs at you. Just ask Pee Wee Herman.
Jimmy cracked corn and I don't care. Jimmy cracked corn and I don't care. Jimmy cracked corn and I don't care.
Is this from a movie or a show? Because I
On
know
Halloween
Pee Wee.
night, while other kids are
Pee Wee
TPing
Herman
trees
had a
like
show,
they should
right?
have done the night before, talking about Devil's Night, Michiganders know, Jamie puts on her best clown costume so she and Rachel can get to trick and or treating in the
haven't been to
streets of
Michigan.
Haddonfield. After they leave, Michael Myers,
I have an
first
invite to
person,
go there,
sneaks
though.
his way into the Carruthers house and makes sure the audience knows that Jamie Lloyd is indeed the daughter of Laurie Strode. Loomis gets to the Haddonfield police station where
a
he
little
meets
late.
Sheriff Brackett's replacement, Sheriff Meeker. He's the father of that Kelly chick from Brady's store. Loomis dives straight into his crazy Michael Myers script and tells Meeker that Jamie Lloyd is in danger. When Meeker doesn't believe him, he just fucking erupts.
6 bodies. Sheriff, that's what I've seen between here and Richmond. I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this town.
Wanting to avoid setting off that bottle rocket of batshit anymore, Meeker agrees to go with Loomis to
That's a
find
good
Jamie
thing.
and protect her. Hope you check home first, Meeky, because Jamie's currently at your house trick-or-treating with Rachel and a bunch of other kids. Kelly answers the
Who goes
door for
trick-or-treating with
them,
that many people. Oh,
don't
that
look now,
explains
Rachel,
James's
but
shirt.
Brady's in the background zipping up his pants, because he and the sheriff's daughter were F-U-C-K-I-N-G. He tries to explain himself to Rachel, but like, dude, what are you even gonna say? You got caught with your pants down.
Literally.
Or with Kelly's pants down, anyway. Damn, girl, put on some pants when you
she
answer
answered
the
the
door
door
for
for
kids. You wanna
kid-
land on the sex offenders list? Instead,
That's
Loomis and
how you
Sheriff
do
Meeker
it.
go to the Carruthers house and find evidence that Michael's been there already, since those pictures are lying around, and oh yeah, there's a dead dog. Sunday, no! Fuck Michael Myers, man. We're all much more okay when Michael's killing people, so let's see some more of that with this unfortunate technician dude named Bucky, according to his hard hat. Michael tosses the guy into a
unless
giant
somebody else's.
transformer, borrowing a move from his frenemy Jason by killing someone while simultaneously knocking out some power. In this
Yep.
case, the whole damn town apparently.
Did
That
Michael
darkness
know
will
that was
come in
gonna
handy
happen?
for Michael later, so I guess he got pretty lucky with Bucky. The cops haven't stated a curfew by now, so kids are getting picked up by their parents and bars are having to kick out their blue-collar patrons. Rachel and Jamie
What
are
do they
finally
do in
found
that
by
kind of
Loomis and
situation?
Sheriff Meeker, but after they get in the police car, Loomis notices that they have an audience, a Michael Myers staring
He's
at them
just-
from afar.
Don't worry,
Wait
he'll
a
be
minute,
gone.
There's a second Michael Myers over there.
There's gonna be a
What's
third.
that? A third Michael Myers?
Is there gonna be a
Yeah,
fourth?
turns out it's just a couple of punk kids playing a goof that nearly gets them shot.
Holy-
It's just a prank, bro. They get back to the police station and find
Kids.
it totally demolished, and we get another body for the count when Sheriff Meeker comes across a dead police officer whose arm has been torn off somehow. Now,
Michael
other
Myers.
counts online say there are 3 bodies in this shot, but try as I may, I can only see one. He's missing a shoe and he has his leg draped over a bucket. I'm not gonna pretend like I see the
Yeah.
other 2 just to be cool, so sorry, we're only adding 1 here. A posse of barflies rolls up to the police station looking for
do they
answers
think it'd
as
be
to why
3?
their precious bar had to close early. And when
With a
Loomis
gun?
tells them that Michael Myers is to blame, they set off to do some vigilante justice.
Son of a bitch, you just created a lynch mob.
You haven't got a police force.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys are gonna be an adequate replacement, Loomy. They take their justice
mean,
truck to a park.
they're
where
targets.
They think they see something. Hey, Earl, did that bush move? It's
Why are
coming
they
back
all-
for us. The drunk dudes just completely
The sound
open
effects are gonna be
fire, shooting
crazy.
their guns off like they're in a goddamn Predator movie.
Okay, we have somebody with a
Good
rifle.
job, guys. You really showed that foliage who's boss. Only there's one problem.
Shit, Earl. It's Ted Hollister.
Yeah, you fucking
Oh!
morons. You just shot and killed some random dude who was probably back there taking a piss or something. This is why you don't crowdsource justice. At the
And it's
Meeker
also
house,
why
Brady
you
and
know
Kelly
what's
are making
beyond
out
your
way too close
target
to the
when
fireplace for it
shooting.
to be a comfortable temperature when their sexy, sweaty times gets interrupted by a car pulling up to the house. It's Kelly's dad, the sheriff. They're able to get dressed and look only like, 95% suspicious when Meeker walks
Very
in with
suspicious.
his entourage that includes Rachel. But again,
Ooh.
Kelly, put on some fucking pants.
Nope.
All you're wearing underneath that shirt is a thong. And now you've got a house full of people, including your sheriff dad. Do you not own pants? Sheriff
I
Meeker
guess
arms
not.
Brady with a gun and tells him
Maybe
to
they're
board up
being
the
washed?
house, while also letting him know that he's not a fucking moron.
Well, yeah. I catch you grope my daughter. I'll use that shotgun on you.
So now we've got a bunker down situation, with Sheriff Meeker and his buddy Deputy Logan securing the Meeker house to protect
Is that
Jamie and
a
Rachel
nail
inside.
in a
Meeker and Loomis call
closet
another town
door that
and
can
tell
just
them
be
to send
broken
over some
through?
reinforcements, but then Loomis leaves for the Carruthers house in case Michael's going there. And then Meeker also has to leave after he gets word that those drunk idiots up and killed a dude.
Hey, I got a town full of beer bellies running around in the dark with shotguns. Who's gonna be next?
That means there
That's
ain't
an
no one
excellent
around
question,
to break
actually.
up the fight over Brady between Rachel and the pantsless wonder that ends with Rachel spilling coffee on Kelly's shirt. Oh, come
Oh.
on, Rachel. That's the only piece of clothing she seemed to own. Kelly manages
Yeah.
to fish out a plaid shirt when she
Where's
comes
that
to give
been?
Deputy Logan some coffee. But it turns out it's not Logan sitting in that chair, since Kelly finds him as a corpse after lighting a candle.
Oh.
It's another
Was he
kill
not
where
just
we
holding
can't
the
see
shotgun?
Too many details about it, but at least there is some blood going on, so that makes it better than that bloodless waitress. Michael Myers stands up from the chair Logan had
Oh.
been sitting in and turns to face Kelly. He takes
a
the
shotgun.
deputy's rifle and stabs Kelly through the torso with it.
That-
with such
that's not
force
how
that
you
it breaks
use
through the
a
wall and
shotgun,
kind of
Michael.
pins her up against it. Cops do it by the book, but Michael does it and then takes a look. Things are feeling kind of final girl right about now,
She
so
didn't
why don't
hear
we have
that?
Rachel wandering on some corpses? If you'll look down to your right, you can see Deputy Logan by the coffee cups. And if you'll
Yep.
look to your left, you'll find a pantsless door decoration that really ties the
Door
room together.
decoration?
Brady meets
Plaid.
up with Rachel, and after they go upstairs to get Jamie, Michael Myers makes his presence known in front of the fireplace. As he
Why did
slowly
he walk
approaches them,
like that?
Brady has some rifle issues, so he's unable to
Shotgun.
successfully shoot the stalker and instead gets thrown against the wall. He
Bro.
tries to fight back, but Michael just grabs
That
his
is
fist
like
it
the
ain't
most
shit, and Mikey
simplest
grabs him by the
form
throat
of a
and
gun
lifts him
that
up
there
into the
is.
air. To Brady's credit, he spends his last living moments spitting out a defiant glob of blood, but then Michael kills him by breaking his neck. The Foster sisters escape into the attic and find
It's not like the
themselves
shotgun
trapped
would do
against a
anything.
window as Michael pursues them. Oh, and look, it's his favorite weapon, which is a chef's knife, not a butcher knife. I I wrongly called it a butcher knife
Yeah.
in previous kill counts, and I apologize for that. Thank you for the kind corrections. They break
There's
out the
probably a
window,
lot of
climb
that,
up
especially when
onto
it comes
the
to
roof,
guns and
Jamie
stuff.
riding Rachel's back like she's teaching her the ways of the Force. Michael keeps on a coming and nearly stabs Rachel with his knife. Then there's a
Gonna
bunch
mess
of
with that
rooftop
roof, bro.
shenanigans
Roofs are
that lead to
expensive.
Jamie getting down via rope and trellis and Rachel getting down via gravity. While Jamie is making sure her foster sister isn't dead, Michael manages to get groundside as well and begins
Probably
slowly
teleported.
chasing his niece through the dark streets of Haddonfield. Instead of being captured by Michael, though, Jamie is nabbed by Loomis, which at this point,
good.
honestly, isn't looking that much better.
Well, it's better.
No, you can't. I've just been there. That's the first place he looked for you.
Together, Loomis and Jamie
He'll
make
find
their
you
way
regardless,
to the schoolhouse
won't
because
he?
I guess the sirens that go off when he shoots his way in will attract authorities or something. Too bad there's already someone else waiting for them.
Is it
at the
Michael Myers?
schoolhouse. An albino Michael Myers.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Wait,
Yeah, I
what?
guess in these shots they accidentally used a mask that was pink with white hair. I don't know, man. But it's just these couple of shots with Mikey as he attacks Loomis and throws him through a window. Before Jamie is
Why
caught
does
by her
some?
murderous
Why do
uncle,
sometimes they
Rachel
play
saves her
with
a
the
fire
person they're trying to
extinguisher,
attack, and
the two of them
sometimes it's
rush
just like
outside
quick and
right as
easy?
that truck of
It doesn't make
drunkards
sense.
pull up in response to the school's alarm that's still ringing. They all pile in the truck and head out to end this movie, leaving Haddonfield for safer territory. But little
Fair.
do they know that Michael Myers hitched a ride on the underside of the truck, I guess. So
How?
now he's climbing into the back and making short work of these dudes. He stabs
Nobody
two of
feels
them in
that
the back
movement?
and the side before rolling them out the back of the truck. Then he
Ugh.
kills the last of the truck bed boys by simply throwing him from the moving vehicle. And yeah, maybe that didn't actually kill that guy, but it's only Michael's third movie and he's trying to catch up to J-Man and the Fredster, so let's let him have it. Truck driver Earl
enough.
hasn't even noticed
You can
the
make that
carnage
assumption.
he's been party to, so it's hard to feel bad
And
for him
grab.
when Michael breaks
Yep.
through the car window and kills him in a brutal way,
Oh,
just ripping
those
apart his
veins.
throat and or breaking his neck with his bare hands. Nice. Rachel takes control
It's
of
gonna
the
leave a mark.
situation, opening the door to relieve the truck of its deceased driver and taking the wheel for herself as Michael hangs out up top and tries to grab at her through the broken window. After he breaks the windshield
why is he
with a
struggling to
headbutt, she
grab
slams
her
on the
now?
brakes and rolls
Before-
him right off the car. Then she speeds it forward to hit him with it and send him flying down the hill. He lands a bit away from them.
That's
right
like
as
the,
cavalry arrives
Freddy
in the
versus
form of a whole
Jason,
lot of police
where they kept
cars.
getting
So when the
launched.
cops rush over to help, they find Jamie being a bit too friendly to her felonious family member and holding Michael's hand. As Michael gets ready to kill again, the cops tell Jamie to drop to the ground so they can open fire on old Mikey and
Oh.
shoot him a whole bunch of times with their guns until he winds up falling into an open mine shaft in the ground. And that's the
That's
last
just
we'll
there.
see of him in this movie, even though he's obviously not dead.
Yeah,
Loomis
clearly.
shows up at
That's
the
so
Carruthers
ominous.
house to let people know he's still alive, but I hope he's not planning on resting just yet. Because while foster mom Deborah Carruthers draws a bath for Jamie, we get a return of the first-person shot that began this whole franchise as the hand grabs a pair of scissors, puts on a mask, and approaches Deborah in the bathroom.
Is it the
Loomis
kid?
rushes to the
It's the
staircase
kid.
and sees what happened, which makes him positively shit himself.
Yep. Similar costumes.
Yeah, son, it's one of those endings where the
Hey,
protagonist
you know,
becomes the villain. Kinda
he had the
like
right
the end of
idea,
Friday
maybe.
5.
I don't
But
know,
just
possibly.
like that ending, this one will get ignored. And next movie, we'll see that Jamie didn't actually succeed in killing her foster mom. Don't worry,
Wait,
though. All the
so
other
what
deaths
was the
still
point
count.
of
And how
that?
many were there?
What?
Let's
Huh?
find out and get to the numbers.
What? What kind of knife is that? Like, what brand is that? It looks
16
familiar.
people
It
died
kind
in
of looks like
Halloween 4,
the set I
Michael's
bought my
best
parents.
outing yet. The victims included 11 men, 3 women, and 2 paramedics of unknown gender, giving Michael a nice little tri-pie. With a runtime of 88
Tri-pie? Last time we had a
minutes,
quad
kill
pie.
on average every
That doesn't sound
5.5
right.
minutes. Not bad. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Earl, whose neck was ripped apart in a shot
Really,
that was
Driver?
actually added later after the filmmakers decided they wanted more gore in the movie. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to the waitress, who also has a real lame fun fact. She was played by the wife of Bobby Brady actor Mike Lookinlad, who was a PA on this movie. And that's
Oh?
it. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, came out in 1988 and fulfilled most people's Myers desires. It was immediately
Myers
followed by
desires.
Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, which I'll cover next week. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill
Okay,
Count. I
this
wanna
is a
thank
good
couple
one.
Of patrons
A
like Gage
Terrifier.
Hall, not Gage Hill, Alex Karolewski,
I guess
Jenny
you said it wrong.
Craigslist, and Julian. When Chelsea and I first watched this movie, we thought the shirt said "Cops do it in the butt." That was pretty funny. Now it says they do it by the books, and now I own
Which-
this shirt, and
I don't even know what it
when
means.
else I'm ever gonna wear it. Every week that gets us closer to Halloween is a week I'm even happier. All right, be good people.
I mean, it also was just Thanksgiving, so I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, whether or not you did or not, I still hope you have a wonderful day and hope you had a wonderful week and safe travels if you're traveling or anything. But this is Halloween 3 and 4 kill counts. Two very, 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 very different movies. They honestly could not be really any further apart, but still being the same genre. Yeah, no, you could have given me 1,000 guesses, and I never would have guessed Halloween 3 would have went the way that it did. That was certainly an interesting movie. Next week, we'll be back with Halloween 5 and The Curse of Michael Myers. Then we have Halloween H2O. We'll skip the Look-See and then Halloween Resurrection, and then I guess, I don't know about the remake or whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, and I'll probably mix in the Look-See and the Sunny Family Cult for another one, because those are both Crypt TV things, I believe. Yeah, they are. Wait, isn't the Look-See's Crypt TV, right? Why does it look like messy in the cover a little bit? But it's definitely not. This was Halloween 3 and 4, though. Crazy movies. I look forward to reading your comments. I read every single one of your comments, so leave them down below. Also, I hope that you are subscribed, as we are so close to 100,000 subscribers. Trying to hit it before the end of the year, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. But until next video, take care, and cue the music.
We were playing